Alright, here's my 2018 Kubota SVL75. This is the 500-hour review. I'm going to talk about bad things first. So I guess I'll start with the inside. Everybody said Kubotas, they are a lot louder on the inside than other machines. And the reason being, it does not have an enclosed or a fully enclosed cab capsule. It's pretty much just the same as the open cab model. It lifts up, this part right here lifts up, and what they do is they just put this seal around the whole bottom of it and then do the windows, and then they seal the door with this rubber. And that pretty much seals it off, and then it's got the seal down here, of course, to seal off the engine. So yeah, they are a little bit louder on the inside. Dust. There are two holes underneath here and here on both sides. I don't know if you can see, but dirt piles up in there. And I actually took some foam and blocked the holes off just to keep the dust from coming in, because what I noticed when I shut the door, especially if the sun was coming in where you could see it, when I'd shut the door, I guess from the pressure from the door shutting, you'd see a cloud of dust come up from right here on both sides. So I blocked it off, and next thing, the windows. There's no way to take the windows out without removing the whole door. I wish there was some way you could. I've taken these bolts out all the way around and took the window off, but you can't get it around this stuff and some of this door framing and whatnot. I wish there was some easier way to get the windows out to clean the other side, because I don't know if you can tell, but they get a lot of window spotting, and it's hard to get that off, and when the sun shines in, it's really hard to see out. I think that's pretty much about it. Now for the outside, these tracks are the mud tracks, and they're pretty rough on concrete or pavement or even really hard dirt. If you're compacting something down, it gets hard, and I guess that can relate to the cab. It vibrates pretty bad, and it makes the door frame rattle and vibrate. The whole track system seems to be pretty good. I hadn't had any problem with anything. I think I've tightened the tracks one time. I'll go ahead and throw this in. To do that, you just take this off, and there's a grease fitting in here, and you lift up the front of the machine with the bucket and take the weight off the tracks, and you just squirt grease in there until you get about two fingers you can fit under these wheels, and that's about as tight as you want the tracks. You don't want it any more than 2 fingers. The only issue that I have had was yesterday, and it was with the fuel system. I'd run the thing all day. Got about middle of the afternoon, and the RPMs dropped like it was going to go dead. But it picked back up, and then like 2 seconds later they dropped again, and then it went completely dead. So it would start back up and run for maybe 30 seconds or a minute, and then it would die again. So what I figured was, I got in here and started tracing all these fuel lines, and I know it's kind of dark, I don't know if you can see, but pretty much what it was where this main fuel line comes from the tank into the water separator. Right there was trash in this little 90 right here, and there was actually a bug and some other trash in there that had stopped that up, and it was pretty much just starving it for fuel. So there's a screen in here for the water separator, so I don't know if I thought about maybe putting some other kind of more of a coarse material filter on that fuel line, or just try to make sure I put good filtered fuel in. I don't know. I think if I put just an inline filter, it would stop up pretty quickly. I think that's pretty much it for the bad, so now I'll talk about what I do like about it. Main thing being that those couple things that I just mentioned are the only things that I don't like about it. I mean, everything else is great. All the grease fittings are easy to get to. I'm going to do a service here in just here in this video here next. All the filters are easy to get to. Here's your fuel filter. Oil filters right here, water separator, the air filters right here. Just pop these off, and it's just a dry element filter. The only other filter on it is under the cab. You lift the cab up, which is easy to do. It's 2 bolts, and the hydraulic filter is under there, but you only change it every 1,000 hours. So all right, I'm gonna remove the oil filter. Got my wrench here. Put it on there. And I forgot to grab my rags. Alright, poured oil back in here. Got plenty of oil on the seal there. So go back in. And just for good measure, I'm going to snug it up just a little bit because my hands are slick. That's that on the oil filter. And the fuel filter, I'm not going to do that because I did that yesterday, but it's pretty much the same thing. You don't have to, but I always turn the fuel off right here. And that's just to prevent if the tank's really full, it'll just gravity feed through here, out of here. But to change the water separator, or to drain it rather, I usually just drain it out right here. Just loosen that and it'll drain out. And then crack this loose, take all that off, pour anything that's in there, clean this bowl real good, and just stick it back on there. And then the actual fuel filter, just use an oil filter wrench and just take it off and fill the other one up with fuel, and then put this one back on there. Nothing to it. Easy to get to. I'll use this wrench. Easy to get the wrench on here. You can even come in from the top like this. It's all easy to get to. I'll mention this radiator folds out. There's one bolt here, and then this one is here, and then there's one here, and it slides out and then tilts down. And all you have to do when you put it back in is just push it in and lift this radiator hose up into right there. And that gives you plenty of room to access everything. Alright, I just broke the drain plug loose. If I can get the wrench off of it. And it's right there. I think this thing holds 2 gallons. Alright, I'm gonna let that drain. Alright, got the oil plug in. Here's the fill cap. Put my funnel. Probably gonna have to get a bigger. I might be able to pour into that. And then here's the dipstick. I always take it off just to, so it can vent. Whoa, backing up on me. All right, there's 2 gallons. So I'm gonna have to start it and check it. But that's pretty much the idea of how to change the oil in one of these things and service it. So grease and fuel filters, water separator, oil filter, air filter. I'll go ahead and change the air filter. Holy smokes. That thing is caked up with dirt. Probably mostly chicken litter. Y'all hold your breath. Looks like the right one. And this filter was $56. Kind of expensive paper filter. Make sure. Let me push that that other filter in there more. That's it, good. Put the thing back on. That's pretty much all there is to servicing one of these things. I'll check this just for good measure. Let me lop it off. Okay, maybe it holds 3 gallons. Couldn't remember if it was 2 or 3. I guess it's 3. I'll grab another gallon. But anyway, that's how you service one of these things. There's nothing to it. Pretty simple. Everything's easy to get to. I've had no problems out of it other than that fuel system thing yesterday. It's been a good machine. To me, it still feels like it's new, so I have no complaints. Really just the minor stuff like the cab, but other than that, nothing. I still love the door swinging up over me. Yesterday in that chicken house, we were putting some of the slats back. If you hadn't watched that video, you can see that there. And I had the door open the whole time so we could talk and I could see better. So anyway, that's it.